dump a bunch of stain on there. But it'd be great to have it done for Christmas. I know it'd be cool to actually have it finished. When we were gluing this, we should have done it differently. Tung oil really feels as if it's for professionals because there's no hiding. There's no hiding behind a stain. Next time we're gonna put a biscuit in. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. But I do not know that way yet. Hey there, welcome back. Now we have 3 days till Christmas. As the time of this video is being recorded, it's very cold in here at about, I think it's 18 degrees in here, which is pretty cold for Washington. We don't usually get that cold. I know some places get freezing, but we don't have that issue. Just because of the ocean, it kind of keeps us a little bit warm. Now back to the project. We need to do quite a bit. For today, the goal is I need to get all the sanding done. I also need to get a handle attached. I reached out to a friend who I trust in design. She recommended that I make a handle instead of having it just be a top pull drawer. My wife loves the concept of infinity. We have it on our wedding rings, which is very thoughtful. I went through and cut one out and did a scroll saw real quick. I have a feeling it may, I mean, it looks nice. I think I could even make it look nicer if I took out some of the details. So I might redo this again. Then her idea, my friend's idea, was to not have the mirror attached, but to have the mirror hang on the wall. The idea is to use this. I got it for $18 on clearance, which is a heck of a deal because Home Depot never clearances stuff out. When Home Depot clearances stuff out, they'll take it from $149 to $147.99. It'll be out of the box and missing pieces, and they'll still do that. I love Home Depot, and I spent a lot of money there. I wish they'd gave better deals. I'm gonna take out the frame. I'm not gonna use this frame here, but I'll rebuild the frame using the wood that I've got. I'll set this over here, using some kind of version of this so it'll match. And then with that said, I wanna put a hanger so she can hang her hot iron or blow dryer or whatever, but that'll also be separate. So you got table, top, mirror, and then almost as if it's a plaque to hang her stuff. And we may change it. That's the cool part about it not being attached, is if it needs to be different, we can always just adjust it. Maybe the hanger doesn't look great there. Maybe we put it on the side instead, or maybe it does look great, but maybe the mirror needs to be lighted, and it just gives us a little flexibility. Now, my friend also recommended that I use to keep the grain showing. I really haven't. I haven't done a lot of staining. I mean, I do staining, but it's not for nice finished pieces. It's usually I'll stain treated wood that I have outside for some projects, and here's an example of one of those projects. And here's another example of one of those projects that I've done where I've stained, and it's just dump a bunch of stain on there. So she told me if I can get this sanded well enough, that tung oil will look really clean, but I've got to do a very good job sanding. That's a must today. And I don't know if tung oil, I've heard you need a couple coats to make it really permeate because this wood is kind of, it's a hardwood. Now with the spalting that's going on, I think that softens the wood just a little bit, and that's why we saw some tear out when we were using the chisel. Either way, I don't know how the cold weather, sorry if this is bothering you guys, I don't know how the cold weather is going to affect the absorption of that tung oil. But it'd be great to have it done for Christmas. I know it'd be cool to actually have it finished. Can we do it? I think so. Let's do it. All right, let's just take a little break here for a second and talk about what's going on. I'm applying this tongue oil here, and I gotta tell you, when we were gluing this, we should have done it differently because it was hard to scrape. That was the first part. That glue was kind of an obstacle. You can clearly see, using tongue oil specifically, you can clearly see where there's residue of the glue. That's going to require either some scraping or some more sanding on my part. Tongue oil really feels as if it's for professionals because there's no hiding. There's no hiding behind a stain. Because I feel like if I would have stained this instead of used that tongue oil, it would probably be hiding a lot of the errors that I'd made between not putting a biscuit in. Next time we're going to put a biscuit in. To some of there's a little bit of gappage here. I tried to fill it in with glue and that sawdust, and it's very clear to see sort of those negative points out of the way. That tongue oil, it kind of darkens it a bit, and you can really see it soak up here. It really highlights this striping that we're seeing here. So it does look really good, if not make it seem, like I said before, a little more folky, which is okay. It's fine. We can have progress, right? We can show progress. I think this thing's supposed to have a couple different coats. I think that's how tongue oil works. I've done some reading, and they say to give it 2 coats. We will have time to get this finished, but just barely. Let's go on to start that mirror project now. I'm gonna have to cover this up, I think. It is freezing! It's so cold. It's very cold outside. I'm very glad that I have my heater here. The idea for this part is we cut a groove on a table saw and we planed this down using our new joiner, or we joined it down using our new joiner. I don't know is that how that goes? I don't know. It's set to hold it like that. And I think that should be, I want to say that's going to be good enough to kind of hold it in place. It has been really easy cutting that groove to fit the mirror by using the table saw. But if I cut the groove here, then you'll be able to see it. So that means I have to I have to somehow cut the groove. Well, no, I can't cut the groove because I cut too much off here, or it's too high. I can cut it down. So I can probably cut this down on both, and then I'd have to cut a groove in this, and I can mentally see that in my mind. I can see that in my mind how to do that. I would drill a hole all the way down. It'd probably need to be about, I don't know, 50, 60 holes, and then come back in and chisel it. I don't think that's gonna work. I could probably just chisel it, but I'm gonna have a really hard time trying to figure out how to get my depth. And if it splits, it could just split up. I don't really have a good solution for this one. I almost wonder if it's not even that noticeable to be able to see that. I'm gonna say that's not noticeable. And if it is noticeable, because it actually is noticeable, then we'll chalk it up to being new. And that way we can show some growth in the future, which is kind of a cheap out, but sometimes getting a project done is more important. And I feel like that's the case. I need to have this project done for my wife. Okay. Now, the cool part about some of this wood here is it's got beautiful looking rays. So there's, as I understand, there's different structures to the wood itself. And there's tubes that go up. I can't think of what it's called right now. And then there are tubes that go sideways. And that's what those rays are. So these are, it's probably going to be hard to see. So sorry, but yeah, there's some cool ray pattern. But all right, let's get to it. I'm gonna use a glue gun to hold the mirror into place. So we'll set the mirror. And the mirror I'm kind of scared a little bit. I don't want to break that mirror. The track of it isn't quite even. It's close, but it ain't perfect. Well, we tried. Let's just put that guy there. And I wound up cutting my finger on this a little bit. That glass top right there was not my friend. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a wiggle to it. A quick solution is just to use my brad nailer. I think it's unfortunate I have to make some of these decisions like this in a hurry. Sometimes quick solutions are needed for projects, especially someone that doesn't know much better. Okay, so we've got that, we've got this, and that's fitting pretty good. Okay. So there's that and that. That's kind of cool looking. So I cut this a little bit too short, so it might bind on that mirror just a touch. But I don't know, that's kind of how it goes. So I want to have it a little offset on either side. Again, I think that'll look kind of cool. So this is going to be the front, obviously. That means that we get a choice of how we want this to look. Do we want this striped grain pattern, or do we want this more solid? I don't even know how to describe what this is. Can you guys see what that is? It's like a speckling. Here, I'm gonna have to show you because this is pretty cool. It almost looks like it almost gives me like it's like if it's a snail mucus trail, but that's not it. That's not what that is at all. It's something to do with the wood. I just don't know. If you guys know, that'd be cool to know. Because there's a lot of this. There's a lot of this all over. And it's kind of neat looking. Okay. Now we got our I'm a little bumped. I got a little supply. It's not too bad. All right, so here's our bottom. Let's make sure we have even on either side. Oh no, it's not wide enough. What if I did that? Oh, that's kind of cool. Now the cool part about this maple is it doesn't flex. It doesn't flex a lot, where the typical wood that I'm working with flexes quite a bit. So we can do this kind of pop cap at the bottom down here, and then have it up like that above. Or should I do it the other way around? Oh, let's do it the other way around. So we'll have the bottom be like that, and then we'll have the top be like that. So if we do it like that, oh, it doesn't make it any easier. I was gonna say we could cut the groove out down here. Oh, no. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. So if I would have had these go past like an inch, I could have just, instead of having to cut out the whole thing, I could have just cut out a notch for that block and then have it sit like that. But we're too little late, or a little late at this point, which is fine. We don't have to always be early to stuff. Okay. Is that sticking out too far? No. And the cool part to this is it kind of gives her some place to put stuff. I mean, the whole table's a place to put stuff, but it gives her, maybe she wants to put her eyeliner up here. She doesn't want to have it roll off or miss it. That's kind of a, or maybe I could even, at some point in the future, I could route her out, which I don't have a router, but I could route out a groove, and then she can spill out fun stuff in her makeup or her lipstick. I don't really know. Just remember that I am not a pro at this. This is not how I don't think you're supposed to do this. I'm sure there's a better way, but I do not know that way yet. I'm sure I'm supposed to probably gouge a side here first. And that way I have a guide to follow. But then again, I don't know. Because I don't know. It sounds like it'd be a good idea to gouge it. But I don't know. I just don't want to make too big of an issue because I don't want this to be seen. Just finished up doing that top part. Okay, so we've got that grout going, or that route, whatever that word is I'm looking for. We have a little channel here. Does that fit with what we need to do? Kind of. Yeah, I'd say it does. Got some flyaways here. But that's one of the cool things about working with wood, and I work with some wood, I work with some welding, some other projects. I'm just a big fan of doing something that I've never done before, and then being able to relate to other people. If you have a conversation with somebody and they happen to be a really fantastic woodworker, well, you know, we've got something we can talk about. Same thing said with, let's say I'm talking to somebody that's ever done concrete. Well, I've done enough concrete. Or roofing, I've done enough roofing to know how to talk to a roofer. That's a hard job. Okay, well, I'm gonna get my brad nailer going. All right, so what do we think? Do we like that? I've got to, I still need to, I'm gonna do the tongue oil. As you saw, I was doing this and that glue had already set up. I don't know if it activates quicker when it's cold or what, but it was definitely a race to get that done. Overall, I think for the $18 mirror on clearance at Home Depot, this isn't too bad. I'm not super confident in the brad nailer that I'd used. I was just, you know, hey, you know how it goes sometimes. Sometimes getting the project done is more important than the details, and I think knowing when trade-offs come into play, I think that's just kind of what this call is. We can update this in the future. We can do something different with this in the future, but for now, we need to get a mirror, because a Vanity is great, but it's really the mirror that's making it fun. Yeah, we got to find some way. If you guys have some way that I can make this stronger, I might put a triangle metal hook, or not hook, but a square, sort of like the plastic nonsense that came with the original one, or the original mirror here. I'm excited. That was actually pretty cool. Again, all this wood was just in my backyard. We cut it, used a chainsaw mill. Really recommend that if you guys have, you know, if you already have that kind of stuff. The actual attachment itself it's on sale on Amazon right now for $78, which is pretty cool. That attachment, this is what it looks like. And yeah, you can make your own stuff. This wood probably would have been, for me, prohibitively expensive, because I don't like spending money on higher quality things, high quality wood like this. I'd rather just use construction lumber and then hand plane it down and then work with that. But either way, I'm really enjoying this. I really dig this. I think she'll go with this pretty good. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and it's motivating me to continue on this journey. It's been really fun sharing it with you guys. Yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. And we've got one piece left. We've got to get the hanger for her dryer and iron and stuff. And here, I'm gonna very carefully set this over here. Now, one thing to mention before I go, that tongue oil, you got to be really careful with that. You need to really take care of the rags. They will, as I haven't seen it, but I've heard that they'll spontaneously start fire if you group them up. I don't really know how that works, but I've heard it, and I'm sure some Science Channel guys probably showed an experiment of it. But yeah, so just be careful if you're working with tongue oil to really take care of your rags. You can't just stick them in a place, because it could cause a fire for no reason. Well, I guess the reason would be that it's inside the trash can and there's a bunch of labels that say not to, but that does it. We have finished Mom's Christmas present, and there's 2 days to spare. I'll try to get this edited in time so you guys can see the suspense of it. It was a lot of fun. The tongue oil really shined. You can really see the lines that are going in there. With that said, it's still a little oily, but it's Christmas Eve. So I'm hoping that there's enough time for it to settle. Some little details I still want to finish. Actually, I don't know if there is any details I want to finish. I feel like I learned a lot here. I learned design is more important than I had been giving it credit for. If I had a clear idea of what I wanted to do and I could just quickly cut the pieces out and then bring them together, it would have saved me a lot of time. I did enjoy adapting, constantly adapting. I feel like it kind of slowed me down just a bit. What else did I learn? I learned lots of stuff, and I'll be applying it in the future. The stuff that I've learned, I'm gonna continue. I think the next project is I'm gonna build my son some shelves in his closet. And guess what it's gonna be made out of? It's gonna be made out of maple. It's gonna be made out of maple because I've got lots of maple. And yeah, so that's the next project. And we'll probably get started on that this week sometime. I've got the next couple days off for Christmas. Well, all right. Thanks a lot for watching, and there we go. Here's the cool shots. Here's all the different shots and different angles.